So Leute, ich bin hier mit Fabian und Patrick. Patrick ist AFK und wir haben noch ein bisschen Stanley Parable geguckt, was es so gibt. Und wir sind
Simply enough, right?
beim neuen
Spiel.
Okay, wir müssen raten, ist es ein Bucket oder nicht.
Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Wie lange habe ich's?
Incorrect.
Was?
It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Very nice.
Item 4. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one. Is this a bucket? Incorrect.
Huh?
This is a bucket. Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Was?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go. What happened? Is everything gone?
Weil alles
Why
ist
did
ein
everything
Bucket.
disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket? Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Okay, was weißt du noch, was es so gibt?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Irgendwas noch mit dem Bucket?
Es gibt irgendwo so ein Fenster, was offen ist, da kannst du raus.
Mit Bucket oder ohne?
Ist egal.
Ein Fenster?
Ja, also so helle Räume mit dieser Beleuchtung, da kannst du irgendwo raus bei 1, weil da keine Scheibe
When
hinter
Stanley
ist.
came to a set of two
Weiß
open
aber nicht
doors,
mehr, wo
he
das
entered the
ist.
door on his left.
Weiß
This was
genau,
not
das
the
ist
correct
ein
way to the
Secret,
meeting
ne?
room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Und korrekt identifiziert?
Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room.
Ja, sowas,
What a
aber halt
gorgeous,
ohne Dings,
gorgeous
da
room.
kommt man irgendwie
Eager to
raus,
get
weiß
back to
man.
business, Stanley took the first
frag
open
mich nicht,
door
wo
on
das
his
war.
left.
Nicht hier, ne?
Ich glaube, das war auch relativ am Anfang, meine ich.
And so he detoured
bevor.
through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door,
Gab
and
irgendwo, da
got back
konnte
on
man
track.
durch so eine Scheibe.
Durch so eine Scheibe.
Durch eine Scheibe.
Tot.
Ja, guck da so zum Beispiel da irgendwie durch. Ja, bei sowas irgendwie zum Beispiel.
Aber ich kann nicht
Irgendwo-
mehr springen.
Ach so.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a
das
wave
kannst
of
du natürlich nur, wenn du einmal
disbelief,
stehen kannst,
Stanley decided to
glaub
go
ich,
oder?
up
Nee,
to
nicht
his
das
boss's
Blumenblatt
office. Hoping he coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
Der-
upstairs to his
Kann sein, dass
boss's
du gar nicht
office.
mehr machen kannst.
Wow.
Kennt er schon 8?
Weiß ich nicht.
Eight?
Ist ja nicht mehr benutzt, eigentlich.
Nee, kenne ich nicht.
Wenn du einen Sprung hättest, hättest du einfach in so einen weißen Raum springen können.
Wie komme ich zur 8?
Bei dem Pinpad.
Pinpad?
Da gibt's das in der Version, der Dach da hinten an der Wand, das Ding.
Stepping into his manager's office,
Alles
Stanley
acht
was
oder
once
was?
again stunned
Yes.
to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark
das nicht so
secret
viel,
was being
Alter.
held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth
Ach so,
that
das
his
war's,
boss
oder
had
was?
been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Problem ist, dass der Typ die ganze Zeit
2845.
labert.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Kennt ihr noch irgendwas?
Müsste noch was geben. Ich weiß halt nicht, wie der Spielstand ist.
Ja, ich habe eigentlich soweit alles, glaube ich.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Kann ich mal Klavier spielen? Unplayable.
2845.
Was passiert, wenn du den noch länger warten lässt?
Forgot, but it turns out
Bist du
that the
schon bei
panel's
dieser
emergency
Mind-Control-Maschine nach
override
unten
kicked
gegangen?
in, and the door just opened all
mal
by itself.
runtergesprungen?
And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Was?
Ja?
Hast du das schon gemacht?
Was?
Bei dem Bildschirm, bei der Mind-Control-Maschine bist du da einfach mal nach unten gegangen? Also nach unten gesprungen?
Nee.
Ja, mach mal.
Okay. Also ich kann nicht mehr springen, ne?
Ja, ich
Selbstzerst-
glaube, du kannst da
Hattest du
irgendwo.
schon Selbstzerstörung?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Hier irgendwo?
Ja, du musst die Bildschirme schon anmachen, glaube ich.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What
Das
horrible
runter kannst,
secret
ich bin
did
mir nicht
this
sicher, ob du
place
dort
hold?
aufspringen musst,
Stanley
das
thought to
glaub ich.
himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom... Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome. You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours, so here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game, with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Good job, you did it. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. But railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
Nice.
Habt ihr noch was?
All of his
Also für die Zuschauer, wir haben auch die Bilder mit den Vögeln noch. Dann das hier mit der Tür. Aber kennt ihr noch was? Oder guckt ihr gerade nach?
Ne, ich guck gerade nicht nach, ich schreibe was anderes. Also,
Ja, es
kennt jetzt auch nicht aus.
Sache. Aber ich weiß halt nicht, ob du die alle kennst. Also mit dem Rausspringen, ich glaube, das geht tatsächlich nur, wenn du diesen Sprung hast. Ich bin mir jetzt aber echt unsicher, müsste ich gerade mal nach.
Sonst guck mal nach. Und ich guck mal hier.
Gibt's ja irgendwie noch so ein
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Secret mit Count.
Gibt's noch so ein Secret-Song vom Countdown?
Nee. Weiß nicht, was du meinst.
Oder, ja, es ist im Prinzip, so ein kleines Secret oben, also bei den Countdown, da steht oben eine Nummer und das ist eine YouTube-URL.
Ach so. Dann kommen wir zu so einem Song oder was?
Yes.
Ach so, Ulkig.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way.
Hast du
As
das,
it is,
Dark
he's
Souls
literally
Secret
just
Song
standing
gefunden?
there doing sweet
Nee.
FA.
Dark Souls?
Aber dafür musstest du zu den Jump halt hin, leider.
Are you really still
Das
in the
kannst
broom
du,
closet?
hättest du nur machen
Standing around doing
können, wenn
nothing?
du den einen Jump
Why?
noch hättest, leider.
Please offer me some explanation
Da
here.
hättest du
I'm
den
Kann ich den Jump wieder
confused.
vielleicht irgendwie hin?
Ich glaube, dafür musst du den Spielstand resetten, glaube ich.
Stanley
You do
Parable.
realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to
Also du kannst
mention it.
theoretisch halt nochmal mit dem Bucket da runterspringen. Was du eben gemacht hast, da kommt nochmal ein bisschen was anderes.
Ja.
Kannst du im Prinzip nochmal machen.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to
Was
his
war nochmal hier
boss's
unten?
office.
Achso, hier wurde der wahnsinnig, ne?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something
Crazy?
occurred to Stanley.
I was
Maybe,
crazy once.
he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously.
Okay, alles klar, das ist glaube ich das gleiche.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
Hä? Was ist jetzt anders?
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Wo ging das nochmal hin?
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Was ist das?
Oh
You see,
no.
your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line?
the
We could make
Adventure
the
Line
Adventure
trailer.
Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Der Bucket. No.
Für das Fenster brauchst du übrigens keinen
Don't you get it,
Sprung,
Stanley?
haben wir nachgeguckt.
We need to
Okay.
get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Ich kann's nicht.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the bucket destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait.
Kann ich.
Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the bucket destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of bucket destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the bucket destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the bucket destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Es hat nicht funktioniert.
Bucket destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Warum?
Oh, shit, ey.
Okay, Fabi.
Such mal den Arbeitsplatz 434.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did,
Mit
it
Bucket?
stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would
Mit
one
oder-
day see
Ist
weather.
unterschiedlich. Also kannst auch mal mit ohne. Du kannst da hoch, ja genau. Und da jetzt aus dem Fenster raus.
Oh,
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Okay, und jetzt mal mit Bucket.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling... Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone? Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
Said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like... My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Was meinst du, Fabi?
Bei der Mind-Control-Maschine mit dem Eimer noch runterspringen.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be... Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Der Bucket. Das eben sollte eine Dark Souls-Referenz sein, oder was?
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Was meinst du?
Kannst du nur mit dem Sprung machen. Wenn du noch einen Sprung gehabt hättest, hättest du da hingehen können.
Der Singular Jump. Der Gute.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with
Jetzt hier
television
runter?
screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered, but just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next? Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette,
that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Sad Ending. Eine Sache können wir noch prüfen.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much. A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Warte, wenn der Bucket einen Fall auffällt.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Oh, ich dachte, dass dadurch, dass ich den... Hä?
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct? Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Okay.
Das kann ich gar nicht.
Kann man jetzt sehen.
The embrace of an old friend, a weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was.
Aber ich würde da gleich vielleicht noch mal eingehen und dann in die rote gehen.
Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Ja.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting
Rocket
room.
League?
Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here. Stanley once again obeyed blindly. Now pick up the phone, said the bucket. Pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Wo ist der Bucket?
He's dead.
Ah.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head. Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket.
Ja, okay,
You know,
das ist wieder die Stelle. Die Boxen
all of his
sind
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Kann sich actually nicht.
Die Lieferung von ganz vielen Boxen ist angekommen.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first
zu der
open
blauen
door on
Tür.
his left.
Ja,
Aber ohne Bucket, ne?
ja.
So.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want
No
to help
buckets.
you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a
Nehmen wir die blaue
chance.
Tür.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the
Nochmal?
red door.
Ja.
Weil da bin ich schon durchgegangen, ne?
Kennst du das schon?
Ja.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley
blaue Tür,
walked
ne?
through the
Ich will jetzt mal
red
durch die rote Tür
door.
gehen und will wissen, was passiert.
Herr,
Oh,
wenn
thank God you are willing to listen to me.
du das
You
andere
see
schon
that I
alles
really
kennst.
have
Yeah.
wanted you to be happy all this time. The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere
hab
that
die
isn't
Rock-
here.
Ja, und so
Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy. No, wait. Where are you going? Oh, no.
Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God you lived. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Psych!
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Yes.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Krass. Bist aber böse.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
So, habt ihr noch was?
Du warst jetzt schon bei der Rocket League?
Warte.
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
Okay. Was meintest du?
Jetzt schon bei der Rocket League Map warst.
Nee.
Ja, dann hast du die blaue Tür nicht zu Ende gemacht.
Ja, aber da war ich doch schon.
Also, lass dich mal den Fabi da durch.
Was heißt für dich Rocket League
When
Map?
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
So,
this was
Rocket
not the
League
correct
Map
way to the
gelaufen.
meeting room,
Huh?
and Stanley knew it
Bist du auch
perfectly
in der
well.
Rocket League Map
Perhaps he
gelaufen?
wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay, gehen wir nochmal dahin.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here.
Das hier?
I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go.
A third
Gehst du
option.
durch linke
This
Tür.
already
Links,
feels
linke.
leaps ahead
Jetzt
of
die
where
hier?
we were before.
Ja.
Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version.
Yes?
Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Jetzt links.
Bill.
Now, would you say that competitive
Best
leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors?
Ist vielleicht sogar
Again,
egal, ich
honest
bin mir nicht
answers,
sicher.
please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Frage, ob du
In
das
this
jetzt schon
game,
kannst.
the
Das
baby
nicht.
crawls left towards
Das kenn
danger.
ich nicht.
You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Was ist Fabi?
Du willst doch nicht, dass das Baby in Zweier gerät.
Okay, ich mach das jetzt nicht. Oder doch?
Carsten, ein Menschenmörder. Ein Babymörder.
Aber das ist 4 Stunden, pass auf.
Lass mich mal kurz meinen Bot schnell anschmeißen. Okay.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Firewatch?
Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation?
Das ist fucking Firewatch.
Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose.
Ist es der
Yes,
heißt das nicht
that
der
must
Lookout?
be it.
Lookout?
What a fascinating
Tatsächlich, oder ist
venture
es
into the
Firewatch?
experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Minecraft, der Sound.
Craft.
Ich habe das Spiel nie gespielt, ist es gut?
Keine Ahnung, ich hab's noch nicht gespielt.
No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You really wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it.
Oh,
Out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice
Steht
big box
einfach
for you to
Rocket
run
League.
around in. There
Hat
isn't
nicht
any
mal-
possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Krass, spielt Rocket League.
oh, man wird sogar schneller.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Hold on. What are you doing? Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Backrooms?
Ja. Original Mod, Police.
Scary. Very scary.
Gleich Jumpscare.
Oh no. Oh no.
Geh zum Licht, geh ins Licht.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Guck, wie lange Zuschauer brauchen, dass ich diese Schreibgeräusche nicht mache, Lul. Ja, okay. Aber ich glaube, das ist es jetzt so
All of
langsam
his
mal, ne?
co-workers were gone.
Ja, es
What
gibt
could
noch
it
so
mean?
kleinere Sachen. aber
Stanley
ich sag mal,
decided to
das
go
war
to the
jetzt
meeting
so,
room.
glaub ich, erstmal
Perhaps he had
bewusst.
simply
Ich weiß
missed a
nicht, was
memo.
du alles halt nicht gesehen hast.
Von den großen Sachen.
Ja, würde ich jetzt mal behaupten. Ja.
Gut. Aber dann war's das. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Extra Part, Lul.
Hast
Stanley
du
went around
ganz
touching
höchstens,
every little thing in the office, but it didn't
bei dem Fahrstuhl, wenn du die ganze Zeit nach unten drückst.
Achso,
make
das
a
hatte ich noch
single
nicht.
difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Dann mache ich das noch und dann machen wir Schluss.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Warte, ich guck nochmal genau, was du machen musst.
Einfach die ganze Zeit nach unten pressen.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a
musst
wave
einmal
of
hoch und
disbelief,
fünfmal runter.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Achso, ne, den meine ich gar nicht. Ich meine diesen Lastenaufzug da. Den am Anfang.
Der dann da kommt, oder was?
Hier dieser eine Lastenaufzug. Ne, nicht diesen Aufzug im Büro. Den meine ich nicht.
Was ist eigentlich mit dem hier?
Keine Ahnung.
Mit Lastenaufzug meinst du, wenn ich den falschen Weg gehe und dann links?
Ja.
Okay, dann starte ich da noch. Warte, ich gucke erstmal, wenn ich hier spam, ob dann was passiert. Ja, okay. Dann probieren wir das nochmal.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door,
Aber
and
hier
got
ist
back
nur
on track.
runter.
Ja, oder ist es der andere? Ich bin mir gerade unsicher. Warte, let me cook.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track.
es gibt noch einen
So now, in
anderen.
order to get back, he
Ja,
needed
ja,
to go
im Office.
Nee, ja, Aus- und Lastenaufzug, aber nicht so.
From here, it's left. Oh no, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly. Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh. Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story.
Ja, okay. Welcher Aufzug?
Ja, warte, das wird hier nicht ganz genau gezeigt.
Even now,
Ja,
Stanley's office was a
verstehen, wie
distant
du da
memory.
reinkommst.
What did it look like? There was a computer,
Muss irgendein
perhaps, and a
Lastenaufzug sein, wo
painting.
du hoch und runter
Was it a
fahren
painting
kannst.
Ja, das ist
or
bei
a
dem-
photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Ja, genau. Jetzt einmal hoch und 5-mal runter.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Hoch, runter, hoch, runter, hoch, runter.
Jetzt wieder runter.
Ja. Muss, glaube ich, einmal rausgehen und dann wieder rein, glaube ich. Oder geh ja mal zum Raum. Ich weiß es nicht ganz genau.
Nicht begeistert.
Muss da, glaube ich, das einmal angucken.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Jetzt runter.
Incredible.
Jetzt fährst du wieder.
Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Jetzt fährst du wieder nach oben.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me. Oh my god, it's the boss's office. This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
Okay.
Scheiß Alkoholvogel, der ist so gut.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No! No, wait! No! I need more time to process.
Ich kann das nicht mehr.
Fährst gleich nochmal runter
Alright.
und dann wieder hoch.
I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this, of course. Going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Wieder hoch.
Alter.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow? There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises? To have to think
and to anticipate, and then to marvel at the eventual reveal.
Video
This
shower
is storytelling,
with
Stanley.
physical
What you and
form.
I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years, and it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley, because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why, though I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh good, we're here.
Oh.
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
Oh, we did it, the pyramid. Niemand, Patrick.
Ah, yes, wait. Another mechanical keyboard user, please.
Yes, here it is, just through this door.
Ja, ich schreibe immer noch Bullshit.
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
Au!
All of his co-workers were gone.
So, jetzt ist aber Schluss, ja? So, jetzt ist Schluss. Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal.
Bis zum extra Special Part Version 2.
Grand Finale Rematch. Wisst ihr,